If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
Young Nab, baby.
Hey everybody, we back with the new installment of the All Over Podcast. I got my boy Norm here.
Yes, sir. What's going on, family? How y'all doing today?
All right, y'all. So we finally crossed over to this other realm. We having guests now. This guest is we're gonna have two guests on this episode. They're both people who I know and love very much. They're two of the closest people to me. It's my cousin, Norm's sister, basically my sister. So Janai, say something, let people know who you are.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
All right.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Like, so how y'all feeling? I'm gonna talk to y'all like in a minute. How y'all feeling this week?
I'm feeling good. It's been a crazy week, but I'm feeling good.
So before we started recording, we was talking about the whole Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez interview.
Oh, brother.
No, that's really where I came up with this topic of protecting Black women. Because well, that's the name of today's topic: protecting Black women. We did an episode protect Black men, and some of y'all didn't feel too represented in that situation, so we decided, you know what, this is gonna be y'all episode. That's why we got Janai here. We gonna have another guest later on today, and we gonna get y'all perspective on things.
All
But
right.
I wanted to ask y'all how y'all feel about the whole Tory and Meg situation. How y'all feel about it?
You know what side I'm on. I ain't gonna speak on that too much, though.
Nah, that's what we here for. Speak on it.
Right. If reports come out saying Tory didn't shoot that girl, I'll apologize. But as of right now, I'm with my boy Tory.
So do you think that she wasn't shot at all, or do you think that Tory didn't shoot her?
I don't think Tory shot her. Now, they were saying that there were bullet fragments in her feet. So, I mean, she definitely was shot, but I don't think it was Tory that did it.
So here's where we tie that into protecting Black women is that Meg said when she first got shot and the police, remember this is 2020, July 2020, the relationship between the community and the police isn't doing that well. So Meg told the police, I stepped on glass. And so that's where the whole skepticism of, okay, why would you say that then if Tory really shot you? And historically, Black women have always protected Black men, even if it comes at their own expense. You think back to like slavery, if the Black man did something, they knew that if they told on him, the punishment he would go through didn't, it wasn't justified by the action he did, or even in modern history. You think to the 50s, 60s, domestic violence, if a Black man got arrested in the 60s, you might not never see him again.
That's a fact.
Shoot, look at now with police and Black men, even the Black women, but Black men for sure.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, with Black African American males, I think this is the highest it's ever been for us being in jail. I think like the rates have actually like increased massively.
I could believe that. But yeah, so that's where it all came from. Because Meg, police came and she said, "Oh, I stepped on glass," and she justified it by saying, "I didn't want them to kill nobody. No matter what had transpired, 10 minutes ago, I didn't want nobody to get killed by the cops."
And she's justified that they were friends. At the end of the day, even after all of this had happened, you don't want to put even somebody doing this horrible thing to you. You don't want to put him in that predicament because already a Black man is a threat to police anyway. Well, they make it like that. So a Black man with a gun and shooting somebody, you never know how that situation could have played out and what could have happened if Meg did.
Yeah, exactly. So, Janaya, I got a few questions that are specifically for you. So I want to get your perspective on it. So in the truest essence, what is protecting the Black woman?
I think protecting a Black woman, it comes with a lot. It comes with a lot because going back to before, just going back way, way, way back, like slavery time, Black women never really, really, really honestly got their voice to be heard ever. Like, even with the black men, like, okay, let's take it up not so far back with slavery times, but even when black men could vote, but weren't able to vote, just women in general.
Yeah,
And
right.
then
Women,
you
yeah.
know they made it as you know, I don't know how the laws changed or what had happened, but then white women were, you know, could do things that black women couldn't, and it was always black women at the end of the day were always like at the lowest barrel,
Yeah.
even the bottom of black men, like they were under them. So I feel like protecting black women just means where are you coming from with that? Like what sense?
However that question correlates with you, however you want to translate it. Like, what is it? What is protecting black? What is it to you, and what does it look like?
Just always having our back. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we are not heard. A lot of times we are not, you know, I have been pregnant 2 times and I have gave birth 2 times at the hospital, and I know that they say with like rates with black women dying in the hospital, like that stuff is very very real. Like black women don't, the type of way that people can support other women, black women does not have that support, but it comes from supporting your own too, because it's
Right.
not only about black men supporting. Some black girls don't even support their own, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to a lot, I just feel like black women don't be supported at all, like at all.
At
Even
all?
I mean,
Hey, if that's how you feel, this is y'all episode. Me and Norm kind of gonna hang back.
they are
We gonna let y'all
supported,
speak.
but it's a lot of things that are downplayed also.
Yeah, okay. I see.
A
where you're
lot
going
of
with
things
that.
that are downplayed, a lot of things that it's so many things that we can talk about when it comes to this. You know, we can talk about just different situations that women have went through, and they had to be quiet about these situations. You know what I'm saying? Like be quiet for years about situations that have happened to them, and things that have happened. It's just always like the black woman is always protecting someone else for herself.
And she don't really protect it. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
You know, nobody is really protecting her.
Yep.
Not saying this is always the case, but
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I understand. I can. Yeah, I respect that. So the next thing is, yeah, you kind of answered it already, but to what extent do you believe black women are given the same opportunities and rights as the black man?
no, not at all.
Not okay. Now let her explain. This episode, let her explain.
I feel like it's never gonna ever be the same extent when it comes to the black woman, because we're always gonna have to work 10 times harder to even get to where a man is. You know what I'm saying? When you think of a woman, people think women can't do things that men can do. So you always gonna have to put in that extra to show them, like, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna always be, you know, you always gonna be just always having to do extra when it comes to things like that, like the workspace, just anything when it comes to that. Now, it is times where it is equal. Like sometimes they be saying women can be higher up than, you know, like men.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So, with that being said, what changes would you like to see from black men in regard to how black women are treated and viewed?
I just think it starts with, it does pretty much start with the black man, you know, just the disrespect aspect, not even knowing that you are disrespecting, but like even when you listen to music, a lot of times when men refer to black women, they refer them in, you know, not so nice ways. I'm
Bitches.
not going, yeah. And even if they're not referring them in nice ways, then they referring to them sexually.
Yeah, that is a
you
good
know
point.
that doesn't make it better either. But I'm not only talking about rappers. I'm just talking about, look at the Will Smith and Jada situation.
Yeah.
I'm not justifying what Will did was okay, but I'm just saying, like, it should never be a point in time where someone is telling you, like, I feel a way about this, or I've had a problem with this, and then a black man goes up in front of thousands of people, well, millions of people, because this was, everywhere, and then try to bring down the black woman. You know what I'm saying? I understand jokes is jokes and everything like
Oh,
that.
you mean Chris Rock? What Chris
Oh
Rock
yeah,
did?
Chris Rock.
Oh, I was about to say
No,
Will Smith.
no, Will Smith. He was.
Yeah.
Will Smith. He stuck up for his wife. I don't think that the way he did it was right. But it just comes down to just being put in different predicaments with black women, predicaments that they shouldn't even have to be put in the first place.
So, would you consider yourself a feminist?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that. Like, how do you identify with the feminism movement? Feministic.
I 100% just support women all around and everything that women is doing. And not just black women, just women in general, because I know how hard it is to be a woman.
Are you like a hardcore feminist?
No, I'm not. I'm not a hardcore one. Like, I've never even called myself a feminist before. But when you think about it and you think about, just rights and everything that has to play with this, it's like, I'm definitely on women's side, but I'm not down in men either.
Right.
I'm on both.
Yeah, she not the extremist feminist.
How has it affected you?
In different situations that play out, you have different opinions about different things, so it can just affect you all around. But being somebody that's just knows how becoming a mom and then being a woman, it's different from being a girl.
Start to look at things differently.
You really look at things differently. So it just got me looking at a lot of things differently, and that's just really how it affected me. Things that wouldn't get to me so much before I became a mom, even being a girl, now I look at things so much deeper and so much differently.
Right, because it's bigger than you. Now you got to think about you because you got a daughter. So it's
I got a baby.
The world for her.
A daughter, so definitely.
Okay, so how can we as black men better understand black women?
Just talking to her, because a lot of the things, like, I have realized in my predicaments, it's like when we try to express ourselves, or if we do express ourselves, we nagging or we just want to be annoying. And I feel like if anybody expresses their problems, they don't want to do, you know what I'm saying? They don't want the conflict. They don't want it, but some things have to be said. But like I said earlier, then when you do, it's always the men, not always, but always someone trying to downplay your feelings, you can tell the black woman can always explain how she feel and how she feel like she's not heard and her opinion doesn't really matter when it comes to certain things in certain situations. And it's just like it's just like for years, it's just been like the black woman just has to basically suck it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, just suck it up, and it is what it is. Mm-hmm. So
I feel that. Okay. So with that being said, how do we make black women feel safe with us? Referring to black men or anybody else.
It's not rocket science. Just make her feel safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, the same way that you have friends and you know that your friends is gonna be safe, you should put that same energy in just black women, period. You know what I'm saying? Black women shouldn't be scared to be around or to talk or to express herself around men, but it's always seemed that way because it was always like it doesn't matter, or a lot of times black women didn't even put their opinion in because they knew
that it wouldn't be
even be heard, or that people wouldn't even care about it, so she just kept her mouth closed.
Okay, so before I move on to the next question, you said something earlier that kind of caught my eye. That was a little bit about protecting black women. You mentioned a YouTube couple. If you choose to say their names, that's on you. How do you feel about that situation with the guy?
I feel like well, the situation that he was talking about, this couple, his girlfriend isn't Afro American, she isn't black, but the way that he talks about black women, just all the time, like black women just always want drama, and black women, like, you can't just put that you on all black women. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of black women that you might deal with might be like that, but and just because you're not into black girls, it doesn't mean that you can just come and justify all black girls, like all black girls are ghetto and all black girls are, this and that, and you can't never black women don't. He made a comment one time like black women don't know how to be quiet when it comes to just their significant other, their male, like, but it comes with a lot of that too. It definitely comes with a lot.
You said something interesting about like not generalizing how you feel about black women, because I got a lot of, like I told y'all in previous episodes, I went to private school, so I had a lot of the private schools I went to, there were a lot more black students than black male students than black female students. And so a lot of the friends I went to school with, they date white girls. To this day, I have a friend who I've only seen him with white girls. And I asked him one day, I was like, yo, how come, like, not even trying to be disrespectful or weird or nothing. I was curious. That's my boy. I'm gonna ask a question. I was like, so why don't you like black women? He was like, man, they all hard and aggressive and get on. I'm like, well, they not all like that. And if you know,
Get to know them.
it could be either get to know them, or either okay, that might be who that one person was, or maybe those three people were. But you gonna find a black girl like that's not okay. Prime example, Janaya, Madison.
Right.
They're not crazy and wild and ghetto, and yeah, they're not the mad black woman. It's like you just gotta find, don't generalize an entire group of people just because you had a few bad experiences.
Right.
Yeah, and it comes from the man too, because I mean, a lot of times that might be how a girl acts in the beginning, but women, you got to do what you got to do so your woman can grow submissive to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, to become submissive and to just let you just like take the lead on a lot of things, and so she won't be like, oh, she always doing, because when you think of a black woman, you think of strong, well, older black women, I should say, not, but I'm just saying, like, black women in our past, you think of just a strong black woman, somebody that always had to provide for her children. When you look back, women who have had 12, 13 children at a time providing for her children, and she was the number one provider and going out to work and just doing everything. You think of black women slave times, you think of a black woman being strong when you think of birth.
I mean, even now, you're not just slave time. Like black women are, the epitome of beauty. They're strongest people that any of us know.
Yeah, that's how people will look at black women. But you can't justify everybody as, ghetto, and because everyone's not like that. You know what I'm saying? It's about the way that you're raised up and your story.
So, as a black woman, how do you feel about black men, and how do you view the relationship between black men and black women?
Being a black woman and someone that has dealt with black men relationship wise, I have brothers, cousins. I just feel like it's not all, you can't just say as far as coming with protecting black women. It is men who does protect black women. Like, honestly, seeing like Norm and Zion in both of their relationships, being with women, I've always seen them protect their girlfriends and have always seen it. But I've also noticed that, not with them, but it's a disrespect level sometimes too when it comes to men and women, because men want respect and they just think that women are just supposed to, a lot of times, not always, but just what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Women shouldn't have anything to say. Women shouldn't, I'm the big dog in this relationship type. And that's just always how it is. So I have seen that also, but it's not always like that. When I have experience with black men, I feel like the black men that I've been around have always protected me. I don't feel like I just don't feel like, when it comes to my opinions and things like that, maybe not so much of being heard, but.
So we almost done here with this segment, but I wanted going back to like the Meg and Tory situation. Has there ever been a time where you felt like you had to protect the black man and maybe he wouldn't have done the same for you or he didn't do the same for you or something along those lines?
Yeah,
And like, how did
absolutely.
you feel in that moment?
I mean, in that moment, I just felt like, trying to protect someone else over me. I felt like, I don't know. I just feel like it was something that needed to be done. Something that it's always like that. And then a lot of times you don't think about it like that until like it actually happens, and you like, wow,
Like
like,
Meg and Tory, prime example of like
yeah,
she did what in the moment she just wasn't trying to get nobody killed.
wasn't trying to get nobody in trouble. So it's just like that. But it's definitely moments like that a lot where and then most times, I'm not saying all the time, but when you are like trying to protect somebody, they put themselves in that predicament. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So
So another thing you kind of touched on already, somebody must have showed you these questions ahead of time. But what or who is a black woman to you?
um um a black woman to me, like I said earlier, is just someone strong, someone that I can look up to, someone that will do anything for, you know, not anything, but does what she has to do, regardless of the circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Does
hmm
what has to be done, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how tired she is. Things got to get done, and she's gonna get it done. And that's just black women. And all of the women that I've been around, that have grew up around, that's a black woman. You know what I'm saying?
I like that answer. Yeah, that's black women. They just it's something special about them. Sometimes you can't even put it into words, but it's just something about them, though. So all right, y'all. We want to thank y'all for listening to just like I said. This is the last segment of this particular episode, but where we got another part coming up next. But I forgot to say thank you, Janaya, for coming on. We appreciate having you. Yeah, she said she was nervous like before we started recording. She didn't want to do it no more, so we had to just tell her it's just a recorded conversation. Um, like we said, thanks for having you. You know, you're welcome anytime. Don't be a stranger. Cough, cough.
Have me on here. Have me on here. The people need to hear my voice.
It's hard to contact you. We can't have you on here. We can't contact you.
Say that again.
Yo, shut up. All right, y'all. Like I said, we had a second guest for today's episode. This is, like I said previously, this is someone I know very well. I've known for a long time, who I'm very close with. So, without further ado, Madison, tell the people who you are.
Hi, everybody. My name is Madison Bryant Wagstaff, and like Zion said, we've known each other for quite some time. And yeah, I'm a student at Buff State. I study fashion merchandising, and I'm all for protecting Black women.
And Madison's a model, a business owner, a fashion designer. Let's see what else.
All right. It's not about me. It's not about me, but yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're not wrong.
You had a fashion show yesterday,
Yeah, runway, it was a success. Definitely, I encourage everyone to come out to our next runway show, which will be next spring. But come out and support Buff State. It's one of our well-known fashion shows that we have every year, and this was our actual first in-person fashion show since the pandemic, since it was virtual. But like I said, it was a success, and I'm so glad that I did it. I modeled. I had my jewelry in one of the collections that won the runway show, and yeah, I'm just beyond blessed.
Yeah, that fashion show was fire. But
Thank you.
we gonna hop into it. So Madison, I want you to tell me in like the truest form, what is protecting Black women?
Okay, so when I think of protecting Black women, I honestly feel like okay, I'm gonna just start listing some things. So I feel that protecting Black women can be standing up for us in our absence, speaking up and or taking action when you see an injustice being done towards us, like pertaining physically, verbally, or emotionally. And taking action does not and should not be equated with violence unless absolutely necessary. We all have been privy to that situation with Will Smith and Jada. We're not trying to have that, but Of course, like I said, if it is absolutely necessary, that is not the first option, of course, no. And a few other things could be not comparing us to women of other nationalities, being like Latino, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, just to name a few. Being that comparing leads to competition, which is essentially pinning us against these other women that are that have different nationalities against each other, that which is not a quality of a man, in my opinion. And furthermore, I feel like supporting Black women is also just being supportive, and that could be it's like supporting movements geared towards helping Black women, especially the Protect Black Women movement that's been popular and trending for quite some time now. Supporting Black women-owned businesses, like my jewelry business, for instance. Come out support Master Battles Creations. Um, and just like our opinions, our personalities, and sense of style. Most importantly, uplifting us. So that could be in the form of compliments, support, being present without causing a disruption to the piece that is being formulated within our Black women community. And most importantly, language. Like just having some male friends and just even on scrolling around social media. Like I hate when especially Black men or just like men in general just refer to Black women as bitches or females. Like that is not okay at all. Like for one, we're not a female dog. We don't piss or crap on the floor. That's just a no. We're human. And female, where it's so much more to Black women than just a reproductive person, just women in general. But yeah, those are just a few things that I feel as if is what looks like protecting that. Hold on. I just feel like that these are some examples that demonstrate how Black men or just men in general can protect Black women.
Okay, so first of all, I love the answer you gave. It was very drawn out and thoughtful.
Thank you.
So, to what extent do you believe Black women are given the same opportunities as Black men?
I'd honestly say that like we're both marginalized because we're Black at the end of the day. However, I feel like, what do you mean the opportunities? Like, can you elaborate more on that?
Just opportunities, right? Like how do you feel like socially that you're viewed in the same that you're on equal ground when it comes to with Black men?
Not really, being that I'm a Black woman, and I feel as if that we would have to work twice as hard, being that we're Black and we're women, and we have to face all of the issues that are associated with being Black as well as being a woman, and that just essentially results in us having to work twice as hard and putting in overtime just to prove ourselves, and that could be shown since the beginning of time, like slavery, with the civil rights movement, with the suffragette movement, the women's rights movement, the Black Power movement. It's just like we just have to work twice as hard. And those are just some of the examples. But like just overall, no, I definitely don't think that we are given the same opportunities. However, I feel like even today we still have to prove ourselves in the midst of this, even in the midst of this period, being that these issues are starting to be brought to everyone's attention through with the help of social media, especially and television, if people still watch TV, as well as like streaming services. And yeah.
I like that. So this next question kind of branches off of what I just asked you. So what changes would you like to see from us as Black men in regard to how Black women are treated?
Definitely, I would love it if you guys would just overall be supportive and like in the ways in which that I stated previously, being like with the language, just supporting Black women-owned businesses, especially our opinions. And like Black women, we are always labeled as like being loud or like ratchet or just like, especially when we give our true, honest opinions. Like we are human. We have the right to feel how we feel. We have the right to say what we like want to say because at the end of the day, it's freedom of speech. It's just like, how come every single time when a Black woman wants to when she has an opinion on something, she's always regarded in such a negative light? Like for you guys as Black men, I would love to see you guys actually just stand up for us while we are actually when we receive backlash for our opinions. Like, granted, like you might not agree with what we're saying, but like this is kind of going a little bit off topic, but it relates in a sense. Like in a relationship, like you're not gonna just. It's not good to argue in public with your partner, especially if you guys are having a disagreement. But at the end of the day, you are a unit. You're supposed to be a unit. But of course, in private, you'd be like, "Hey, that wasn't cool," and then you guys try to like reconcile and come to an understanding so that you can effectively move forward. So, with that being said, for Black men, I feel that I feel like you guys should definitely be supportive in all aspects regarding Black women, and just especially on social media and just in the public in general, and definitely don't put us in a negative light, because we're already have been put in a negative light. We've already been objectified, degraded, abused over since like the beginning. And yeah, so hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I like what you said about like being a unit in public and like, you know, because it's like I saw this.
Yeah,
It was like, you know, if we had a party and my girl say 2 + 2 = 3, well, guess what? 2 + 2 = 3 then. But now when we get in the car, I'm gonna be like, that was some dumb shit you said. But
right.
it's a matter, yeah, being unified in public. Yeah, I like that.
Exactly. Especially since like we both as Black men and Black women, we definitely do share some similar struggles, being that we are Black, and all the social and all of the issues that come with being Black, such as racism. Um and that's just a whole other topic that could be discussed too, but I don't want to get too much into that, but that's just one major thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, Madison, would you consider yourself a feminist?
I definitely would say, I definitely would consider myself to be a feminist. And that doesn't mean that like, cause I also, when I was little, I used to think that like being a feminist was just like, okay, it's all about women empowerment, all of that, but like also like hating men too. But that's not the case at all. Like being a feminist is, definitely supporting women, definitely women supporting women. However, it's just like also educating others about how they should go about supporting us too, especially since women have been also been privy to like sexism, misogyny, and just like those are just to name a few issues, but just like um it's not just about empowering women, but it's also educating others about how to empower women and support us through this journey, um of just improving overall as a society and a culture.
So, what does an ideal society look like to you in the realm of sex and gender relations?
That's a deep question. You're hitting me with all these deep questions. I mean, honestly, an ideal society and relate in regards to sex and gender, I would say, well, I've been brought up in a Christian household, so I definitely do believe that the man should be the head of the household. However, the man should know how to lead. And if the man doesn't know how to lead, then of course the woman will have to take over. But I definitely would not like that to be the case in this ideal society, being that that's just not how, that's not the way in which God intended it for it to go. So yeah, definitely would want women to be viewed more than just like a caretaker, who only births children, just have to take care of the children, all of that. Of course, women in this ideal society would have a job. They would be given a lot more freedom. It wouldn't be freedom in regards to speech, freedom in regards to like what they wear, just overall. But it would still have like those core um foundations of having like the man being the head of the household and all of that, and just like leading all that. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it'll be kind of like a remix of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel where you're coming from.
Okay.
So, with all that being said, you know, how does, as speaking to Black men in general, how do we understand you? How do we get to like, yeah, how do Black men understand Black women?
Honestly, I would say the number one way in which Black men can definitely get a deeper understanding of Black women is just honestly just being there emotionally. Emotional support is a big thing. Like I said previously, like Black women would always be looked in a negative light in regards to our opinions, and even the way in which that we express our emotions as well as our opinions. Like we could come off like in such a hostile way, but we don't mean to come off that way. However, like I stated previously, it's been centuries, well, decades and even centuries of being marginalized, degraded, abused, and objectified, and we're just tired of it. And that doesn't make it right. However, as a black man, you should definitely be empathetic in that sense and just be there to listen. And especially like I honestly feel like yeah, that would be like the top thing. Just emotional support, being there to listen and just saying, okay, or just like, yeah, being there to listen and just figuring out and letting us express like why we act the way that we do, or just also be observant too, not just listening, but also be observant. So, yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like that. So that's how we can understand you. How do we make you guys? How do we make you guys feel safe with us?
You definitely can make us feel safe by not doing the things in which um like white people or just like people and especially like white people have been doing so since the beginning of time. Like definitely I would say be more comforting, be more uplifting because like I said before, we've been degraded, abused. Definitely don't abuse us verbally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, or even sexually because that's been um a huge thing. But yeah, I get it that we're all human, that we make mistakes, but I honestly feel that you guys should definitely just be more aware of the issues that we go through as not only as being black, but just like women in general. And also to educate yourselves too, because if you don't educate yourselves, how will you know how to move effectively move forward? And yeah, and just what was the beginning part of the question?
It was just how do we love black women?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, was that? Oh, that's how
I
you.
just
That's it. I said how do we make you feel safe with us? But wrap up everything you said. How do we love a black woman?
honestly, I'd say there are a few ways that you can love a black woman. I would say, for one, being a gentleman. Like nowadays, it's just like my grandmother would say, courting. Like it's like even though it's hella old school to say courting, but like I understand where she was coming from because like nothing new is under the sun. So it's just like
It's never what you do, but how it's done.
right. So definitely take things slow. Just get to know us and not just be in a rush to just like be intimate. Like that's another thing. That could be a whole other topic for a podcast. But yeah, it's just like take your time, get to know us, get to know what makes us tick, what makes us talk, and we can do the same thing with you guys. But definitely listen, be emotionally supportive, and just being supportive in all aspects. Like if your woman likes if she has a business, then hell, support her business by promoting. You don't always have to purchase an item. You could definitely promote on social media. You can do it by word of mouth. You can do like a lot of different things. Um, but yeah, those are some ways in which that a black woman I feel should be loved. And definitely you guys should also be adding to just like also being supportive of our self-love and self-care and healing journey too, because we definitely have a lot of healing. There's definitely a lot of healing that has to be taking place considering what we've been through as a people and as a gender at that. So yeah, um, that's what I could really think of at the top of my head at this moment. But I know there's a lot more.
Okay, so overall, how do you feel about black men, and how do you view the relationship between black men and black women?
Okay, so you said, how do I view black men?
Yep, dude, I hit you with a two-parter. So how do you?
All right, I'm gonna need you to. Okay, let's take it one step at a
Okay,
time.
so
Okay.
we're gonna do one. Okay, so how do you feel about black men overall?
Okay. Overall, I absolutely love black men. Like that's one of my types. Like I definitely would see myself marrying a black man if it's all said and done. I definitely view you guys as kings, as you guys should view us as queens. Like if anything, we're in this together. And if we weren't, unfortunately, privy to slavery, we would definitely be kings and queens. So Definitely view you guys as kings. Definitely very resilient, powerful, and yeah, I just love Black men.
Okay, so how do you view the relationship between Black men and Black women?
Um, I definitely like as an overall, or like how it could be improved, or like what do you mean?
However you want to translate that question.
As a relationship, I definitely feel like that the black men and black women should definitely coexist or know how to coexist because it's just honestly I feel like it's been a lot of tension, like especially with like on social media when it's saying like, oh, y'all not crap. I'm just you know I'm trying to say like, oh y'all not crap or like women aren't crap and all of that. But it's just like, what's with like, let's just put all the pettiness aside. Let's honestly just get to know each other and actually listen to one another and be understanding that we are human and that we make mistakes. However, trusting the process and just being there together and effectively coexisting as a unit instead of just always being separate. But yeah, I definitely view black men and black women being a unit instead of like its own separate entities too. Or like I know that there's black men who prefer other women that aren't black, and the same for black women. However, even if that's the case, it's just still if you see black men on the street that's being disrespected or just like going through something that you know that you can definitely help with, I say just stand up for it. Just be there for one another. Especially, well, even if you don't know each other too, it's just we are people. We have the same struggle, and yeah.
Okay, Madison, I got one last question I want you to answer. I feel like this is like probably one of, if not the most important question I've asked you today. What or who is the black woman?
All right. I definitely would say the black woman. She is a queen. She is beautiful. She is the definition of success. She is a go-getter. She is confident. She is intelligent. She is unapologetic in the way in which she carries herself. She doesn't care who thinks about who. She doesn't care what people think about her. She just constantly does. She does her unapologetically. Um, I could go on and on and on, but those are like the top main things that I definitely view myself as, and I definitely feel that black women should view themselves as well. And that's what I think of black women. I think of power. I think of resilience. I think of strength. I think of tenacity. I think of healers. I think of just like overall goddesses too. Like it's just so we're very versatile from our hair to our complexion to our ethnicities, being that the African heritage is made up of approximately 47 to 55 countries, and like our DNA, like the Eve gene, like it's just we are so versatile, and yeah, we're just a phenomenal being. Like who wouldn't want to be a black woman?
I feel that. I feel that. I like that. I love that answer.
Thank you.
So that was the last question I had. So Madison, you got anything else you want to say? You want to plug anything? Anything you got coming up? Where can people find you? Anything like that?
I definitely like to say thank you, Zion, for having me be featured on this podcast. I appreciate it because
Yeah,
you
because
know when I was
Madison,
listening,
Madison listened to she listened to Protect Black Men and called me. It was like, how come I?
Yeah, I sure did because I'm like, okay, I'm all for that, right? But you need to hear it from a black woman's perspective too. Like, come on now, not just me, but like, come on now, like we need to switch it up. Like, I'm all for it, but like I said, yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And yeah, like I said, I study fashion upstate. I have my own jewelry business, Madison Fabulous Creations, that was established in 2009. Started off as but I turned it into a business in 2018 when I got my DBA. It's coming up, and if you guys follow me on social media, follow my business page at Madison's Fab Creations at oh my gosh, at Madison's Fab Creations. I almost gave you guys my email address, but y'all can have that too if y'all want. But but yeah, I have a lot of things coming up, and yeah, just want to say I'm very grateful, blessed for having me. And yeah, thank you.
Come back anytime.
Okay, I mean, if there's other No, I didn't leave.
Oh,
Are we done?
no.
You gonna have a lot of cutting out to do because it's like, why did you pause like that?
Because I asked you. Okay, you know what? Never mind. Anyway, before I had one last thing I wanted to say before we leave. This 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 topic was very important to me, and I didn't want to come off as ignorant or like I was attacking anybody, and that's why I decided to kind of like come up with the questions and then hang back and let you guys run the episode. So I did have these questions vetted by someone who I know personally. So I wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Tamika Wagstaff for vetting the questions. She came through for your boy.
What? Okay, Tamika. Okay.
I don't even know if
Thank
Tamika
you.
listen. I think she do. I'm not sure. But y'all can find her at Beyond Boundaries Consulting. That's BBC 585 on Instagram. Their mission is to share best practices, innovative approaches, and with thoughtfulness, empathy, and care for organizational and transformational change. So we want to say thank you to Dr. Tamika Wagstaff. We want to say
Yes.
thank you to Madison Wagstaff. We want to say thank you to everybody that's listening, that has been listening, and you guys tune in. I really take this episode, share this link like y'all did with Protect Black Men. Y'all love that one. So take this episode, share this link, play it for your friends, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, your brother. Just share it because it's a message that
Yes.
needs to be heard. It's
Definitely.
from perspective of Black women who I trust very much. So I ain't just get anybody on here. I handpicked. And with that being
Yes,
said,
as you should.
oh yes, absolutely. But with that being said, we are gonna see you guys another time. Thank you for coming on, Madison. Once
No
again.
problem. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I ain't gonna put them all in your business. I'm gonna just leave it at that. She did good well at the fashion show last night. Other than that,
No, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
nah,
What were you
I
gonna
want to
say?
put your business out there like that.
Okay.
So people know that.
All right.
But yeah. So me and Norm will catch you guys next weekend. We want to thank you for tuning into the All Over Podcast. Peace. We out.
Young Nab, baby.